She loved. She knew it in her heart. She had suffered too much.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining our informational webinar for the Tackling Climate Change with Machine Learning workshop at NeurIPS 2021. As indicated, the dates for the workshop are not decided yet, but will be in December this year, and we're very much looking forward to it. Today we'll cover the several programs that run within this workshop, like the mentorship program, the tutorials and papers and proposals tracks. So we're really glad you could join us to find more about it. We are also excited to hear your questions, so please post any questions throughout the presentation in the chat. And we'll answer this in the end in the Q&A. So Climate Change AI is a voluntary initiative that aims to catalyze impactful work at the intersection of climate change and machine learning. We aim to do this by building a community of diverse stakeholders from academia to industry to government, and involving all these people in this discussion of climate relevant issues. Also, we aim to guide impactful work through educational resources and programs. We'll hear some about some of these programs today as well. And we try to fill gaps in essential infrastructure, such as funding, tools, and data sets. One of our key aims is to advance in this course and advising relevant places in all these these diverse areas. So we can learn more about our work at our website, www.climatechange.ai, and also through our Twitter feed at Climate Change AI. So the Climate Change AI initiative is formed by the core team and our advisory board as well. Our core team works remotely, and our members are based a bit throughout North America, Europe, and Asia as well. So we have quite a diverse group of people from different backgrounds, also relevant to climate change. And our advisory board is composed of also very illustrious members that are pioneers in their areas and help us and advising us in our initiatives as well. So for this workshop, this is the team that is organizing the NeurIPS 2020 event. It's composed by me. I'm Maria, and I'm based in Lisbon. Ari, which is a PhD student at UC Berkeley. Simone, which is a PhD student at Columbia University. Jan Dragona, which is a senior data scientist at Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. Tegan, which is incoming assistant professor at the University of Toronto, and Joshua, which it's one of the most renowned researchers in deep learning. You might be familiar with his work as well. So this workshop comes as part of a workshop series, mainly at machine learning conferences, such as the International Conference of Machine Learning, Neural Information Processing Systems conference as well, NeurIPS. But there have been other past events at different conferences, notably also at the UN Climate Change Conference, COP25, and we're working also for the upcoming COP26 conference as well. And we have these video recordings from previous events available online, which we welcome you also to review as well. Other resources that CCAI provides that are available through our websites are the most notably, probably many of you have come across the Tackling Climate Change with Machine Learning paper, which is quite extensive and it provides a very broad overview of this topic. In our website, we also provide interactive summaries to the several topics of the paper and also supplementary resources related to it. We have recently released the Climate Change AI Wiki that it's open for everyone to contribute to it as well. We have a monthly newsletter. We also encourage you to join our newsletter where we aggregate a lot of information about articles, scientific publications, upcoming special issues, job postings as well in this area. It is a very diverse resource as well. We have our YouTube channel where we post videos regarding the workshop activities, webinars, and the events organized by Climate Change AI. And additionally, we have several community platforms such as the forum that allows you to connect with other people working in this space, find data sets, find job postings as well. You yourself can post to the forum in the diverse areas, which is a very interesting resource. We have fortnightly happy hours as well, that are virtual happy hours where you can join to find collaborators. These are pretty informal, so anyone can join and talk to the other participants. We have also recently launched the Circle platform that aggregates many of the various areas of climate change AI and allows you to connect with people asynchronously. It allows you to connect with people during our conference events like the one from ICML 2021 and helps you find collaborators. We have also another research that is not featured here, that is the directory, where you can add yourself to the Climate Change AI directory and list ways you would be open to collaborate, be it to find mentors, to mentor someone, if you have job postings you wanted to provide, find research collaborations. It's also useful tool for that. In the next slide, Jan will take over the presentation.
Thanks, Maria. Hi, everyone, and thank you very much for joining today's session. And first and foremost, like your interest in this application space of climate change. So what is our workshop about? This particular NeurIPS workshop, or Neural Information Processing Systems, is happening at the leading global machine learning conference with more than 22,000 virtual conference attendees in the previous year and more than 30,000 in person in 2019. So it's a huge conference, annual event, which brings together various researchers from academia, industry, or practitioners in related fields. The main NeurIPS conference consists of main event with different tracks, but also of workshops, which are like parallel tracks to the main conference. These workshops are typically specific to one particular application area, like reinforcement learning or uncertainty quantification or climate change AI. What is important to mention is that you can attend only the workshop and not the main NeurIPS conference. So you can submit a paper or proposal to our workshop and you can attend the CCAI workshop and that's it. But also you can access the main NeurIPS workshops through your submission of the paper to CCAI workshop. At the same time, you don't have to submit anything and all our content will be freely available to the public on our website. Next slide, please. So our workshop has a very broad scope. It's climate change related problems. So that's everything related to agriculture, behavioral, cultural sciences, buildings and cities, carbon capture, climate modeling, climate finance, justice, on various energy systems, so like we know from engineering of power systems, etc. So huge application space, and at the same time, very broad machine learning methodological space. You can apply reinforcement learning to control problems in power systems. You can apply time series modeling to weather forecast. You can apply image models to spatial imagery from the satellites, many intersections. So the whole community is very interdisciplinary. So at the same time, very inclusive. Next slide, please. A particular structure and the timeline for our workshop is separated in two tracks. A traditional track is composed of papers and proposals. So right now we are in a submission period where you are preparing your paper or proposal, and the deadlines are due September 18. Then we will have a review period until October 23, and selected papers will go through the review process. All papers will go through review process, and selected papers will receive notification of acceptance at this deadline, and those selected papers will appear at the main workshop event where we will present the work as a part of the oral speeches or as a part of the poster sessions, which happens in the Gather Town. At the site, we have the tutorial track, which is currently in the first phase, where we are still receiving tutorial applications, where the deadline is approaching very soon. It's August 15, and we will have a very short review period, 1 week, and we will notify the selected tutorials. And the selected tutorials, will have some development time to preparing the tutorials for the main NeurIPS event. So I have heard some excitement in the audience. So like, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the chat and we can go through them during the Q&A. So this is a new thing, and there will be like more hands-on experience on these very cool applications in this space. For the papers and proposals track, the traditional space, you can go for submitting some of your work related to climate change and machine learning with emphasis on the results. That's the papers track. It can be work in progress, or it can be already applied research or like industrial applications. So like from basic research to application, we are really inclusive. We want to bring on board various stakeholders from industry, academia, practitioners, researchers, such that we have like this lively discourse on the matter. The papers and proposals are non-archival, so you can also submit already published papers, which you publish in some climate-related journals or machine learning conferences, or you can present just your work in progress, which is not ready to be published yet in some major venue. It's all inclusive, but there is a review process, so it will be competitive. So focus on some clear results is paramount. Also, we can go still back to this slide. So workshop proposals, on the other hand, should highlight detailed plan of the future work, and they don't necessarily need to include any tangible results, but they need to be like very detailed in the methodology, and they are limited to 3 pages. So we can go to the next slide. Yeah, so 4 pages for papers, 3 pages for proposals, but you can include how much content you want in the appendix. That's like common standard in machine learning conferences. So if you feel like you have more content, you can support your paper and proposal in that way, but the reviewers are not obliged to go through the supplementary material, and the paper and proposal should be standalone on these 3 or 4 pages. You need to clearly explain what you did and why it matters, because you need to keep in mind, having such a broad interdisciplinary field as a climate change and AI intersection, there are lots of people who don't necessarily have the background in your specific field. So you should avoid some jargon and some niche techniques should be brought into the context. So providing references if you are using some technical terms, or explaining what does it mean in the context of this application, and like trying to build this bridge between AI and machine learning for the climate applications. You can go through examples of the past accepted papers. This is highly advised for especially like the new participants in the workshop who want to submit their first paper, and to see like what was successful in the previous years during ICML, NeurIPS, and iClear workshops. And as a reminder, submission is due September 18 via CMT, which is our main submission platform. And here we walk you through how to search for a past accepted paper such that you can have inspiration, what was successful and what was not.
to search for past submissions to our workshops, you can go to the event section and select past events. There you'll find a list of all previous events and also the link to the searchable engine where you can search for all previous accepted submissions.
We're excited to launch the tutorials track at the next CCAI workshop. And the goal of the tutorials track is to generate content from the community that demonstrates step-by-step walkthroughs of ML applications and climate change. The goal for the tutorials is not to develop new research or new applications, but rather it's to make easy to follow Jupyter notebooks or Python notebooks that demonstrate a package, data set, or method that solves a problem related to climate change and machine learning. The goal of our tutorials is to be an educational resource for the entire community so that there's particular cross collaboration between machine learning and climate change relevant communities. So as educational resources, the goals for the tutorials will have a little bit more requirements and structure on our end compared to the papers track. Specifically, we want the tutorials to define a target audience, difficulty level, and the prerequisites that the members of the tutorial should have. And the tutorial development will be far more iterative than the papers and proposals track. So we have a key date section on this slide. So first we'll ask that you send a proposal for a tutorial, which is a short, around 250 words or less summary of what the tutorial will be about. And then after that, between August 15th and October 4th, there'll be an iterative process where the tutorials team from the community and an in-house climate change AI team, which includes myself, will be working with you to provide feedback on the tutorial and to make sure that the content is clear and easy to understand for broad audiences. Then we'll want to have one major deadline in the middle. That'll be on October 4th for a midterm deadline of the tutorial. That'll be the initial draft. And once again, after that, we'll continue the iterative process so that the final tutorial notebooks are due on November 21st. When the time for the workshop comes around on December, we strongly encourage the tutorial presenters to have a recording of their tutorial available so that anyone in any time zone can asynchronously view it. And we'll also have spotlight talks and posters in a dedicated room for all the tutorial submitters to showcase their tutorials. Here's a timeline of how the tutorials track will proceed. So right now we're at August 11th. So in 4 days on August 15th, we will have the application deadline for just the brief summary, in a 250 word paragraph. And then between October 1st and November 21st is really where the tutorials development will go, both from the community and from the climate change AI team. In particular, after November 21st and December 3rd, we'll be doing QA or quality assurance on the tutorials to make sure that they work smoothly. And because they're not in PDF form, but we'll also be checking that the environment is hosted in an easy to use manner and that all the packages, especially for Python, are readily available. Then there'll be the workshop event at the end of December. And we also wanted to encourage submissions of tutorials because at a future climate change AI webinar, we'd like to feature some more of the full form tutorials, allowing you to have a live format where you can present your machine learning Python package, method, or tool. This is the first time we're running tutorials and we're really excited to get it out because one of the major lessons from climate change AI webinars is how much interest there is in climate people to work with machine learning and machine learning people to work on climate change. So we think that open sourcing and crowdsourcing tutorials will be a great way to increase the amount of educational content that's available.
Thanks, Ankur. So one very important thing about any submission to the papers, proposals, or tutorials track is to convey the pathway to impact. So for tackling climate change, it's very important to convert ideas into action And in the submissions, they really ask that the link to impact is very, very present. So for the first point, illustrate the link. So explain the way in which your results could help address climate change. This could be a very direct link. You could be working on something very applied to a problem, a climate change problem, but it could also be theoretical work that is helping improving some technology that is relevant for climate change as well. So a multi-step link is also fine as long as it is very well explained in your submission. Also, it is very important to consider relevant stakeholders, which what actions are ultimately your proposals trying to influence, what insights would stakeholders in industry, government, NGOs find valuable in them as well. Or other scientists working on these problems. It's very important to outline key metrics quantitatively or qualitatively, explain why solving the problem is important, and also benchmark this against other methods. So this goes a lot into the point of the justifying your machine learning as well. You know, it's important to compare it with other methods, justify why this is needed, why it improves or not, if the improvement is big or not. So that is another very important point. It is important to be clear and concise in your presentations. So it is important to convey pathway to impact. It doesn't have to be a very lengthy discussion, but it has to be very clear. And ultimately, previous slide, please. In this Tackling Climate Change with Machine Learning workshop, is one of the key aims is to empower work that meaningfully addresses the climate crisis. And this is sort of a guiding principle, that a guiding goal that we want the work presented in the workshop also to reflect. So it's very important to convey the big picture as well. So who should apply for the workshop? I just want to highlight that anyone is welcome to join the workshop, having experience in scientific conferences or not, having background from academia, industry, government, public sector. Everyone is welcome. You don't have to also submit a contribution to participate in the workshop. You can just register for the workshop itself. But we welcome also publication submissions for the papers, proposals, and tutorial tracks from these stakeholders and researchers and practitioners using machine learning to address climate change mitigation, adaptation, or working in climate science. Also machine learning and folks from machine learning and non-machine learning domains. We aim to bridge these gaps between fields, and also academics and practitioners in the industry, government. Everyone is welcome in this workshop. The virtual format makes the global participation much more easier, and we further along will have more. We typically have some grants regarding registration to make this even easier, and the conferences usually have also some support for for registration that we encourage everyone to apply for as well. We also invite stakeholders in industry, government, NGOs, finance, and beyond to join the workshop. We try to have also these groups represented in our keynotes and panels as well, and also the poster and spotlight contributions as well. Next, I hand it off to Simone to talk you a bit more about the mentorship program.
Thanks, Maria. So I'll be talking about the mentorship program and specifically about the mentorship application process and what it entails. So the goal of the mentorship program is really to bridge the gap between ML disciplines and climate change areas. Thus, we welcome applicants with different backgrounds. Many disciplines are all welcome to apply. So just for context, it's okay for the non-ML applicants who don't have experience applying to ML venues to be interested in submitting to this workshop. It's also normal that applicants with ML backgrounds may be seeking guidance on the application of their solutions to climate change areas. So both are welcome, both are complementary and could benefit from the mentorship program. The goal of the mentorship program is really to provide support in the form of feedback on the papers and proposals leading up to the submission deadline for the workshop. The application for the mentorship program, be it as a mentee or as a mentor, is August 15th, which is in 4 days. So who should apply for the mentorship program? Really, anyone who is considering submitting to the workshop is encouraged to apply as a mentee and take advantage of the mentorship program. For mentors, we're looking for people with a bit more experience, specifically advanced PhD students, early career researchers, professors, people in the private public sector, nonprofits who have several years of experience. So if this is something that interests you, we really encourage you to apply as a mentor. The thing to note is that there's a time commitment of a minimum of 5 hours total per mentee, and the 5 hours is over the 1 month mentorship period. So now we'll watch a quick video on how to apply for the mentorship program.
Welcome to this tutorial on how to apply for the mentorship program of the Tackling Climate Change with Machine Learning workshop at NeurIPS 2021. First, start at the Climate Change AI landing page. Then, go to the Events section and select NeurIPS 2021. There, you'll find the complete information about the workshop, which is updated over time leading up to the workshop event. For information about the mentorship program, follow the quick link to jump to the respective section. There, you'll find the objectives of the program and expectations, as well as all the relevant information to apply, including the scheduled timeline and important deadlines. On the application section, you can find the links to apply, which direct you to the CMT system if applying to participate as a mentee, and a Google form if applying to be a mentor. For mentee applications, you get directed to the CMT login page. If you don't already have a CMT account, be sure to create one. After establishing your account, then access the previous link and you enter the Author console, where you will submit and manage your application. Click on the Create a New Submission button that takes you to the application form. The form starts with the title and abstract of your project and the author details. Then you also have to select one primary area and one or more secondary areas. You will be asked to answer a set of questions regarding your project, such as its machine learning and climate change relevance, as well as the areas you are interested in getting feedback through the mentorship program. Next, you have 3 questions about your current position, previous engagement with climate change AI, and publication experience. Then, you can choose to answer a set of optional questions whose response will be kept confidential and can only be viewed by workshop organizers. Finally, at the end of the application form, you will be asked to agree with the statement of commitment for the mentorship program. Welcome to this tutorial on how to...
So we'll move on to just going over the mentorship timeline. So the mentorship application deadline is August 15th, as highlighted previously, and we welcome both mentees and mentors to submit an application. After the deadline, there will be a brief matching period between mentors and mentees, after which the mentoring process will formally begin. We anticipate about a month for the mentorship process, leading to the submission deadline at the workshop by September 18th. After the submission deadline, there'll be a brief review period and acceptance notifications will be sent out. We're looking forward to your submissions, be it in the form of applying for the mentorship program, the tutorials track, your papers, your proposals. If you want more information about the workshop, you're encouraged to visit the climate change AI, climatechange.ai/event/NeurIPS 2021 website. If you have specific inquiries, you can send us an email at climatechangeai.neurips2021@gmail.com. To stay up to date with events or announcements pertaining to the workshop and in general to CCAI, consider subscribing to our newsletter. And if you're looking for a community to engage with, share projects, looking for jobs, looking for people to collaborate with, consider interacting with us on the Circle platform. I think that's about it for our presentation today. So we would welcome any questions that you have.
So far, I see one question on the chat already. Please everyone, feel free to either ask through the chat or in this the Q&A part. Feel also free to unmute yourself and ask your question as well. So this question concerns scope regarding aquaculture theme. So the list of topics you see on the workshop scope part is not meant to be exhaustive. That there might be other areas that are not featured there but are relevant for climate change. So please, we encourage everyone to submit. It's just very important that in your submission you make very clear the link to climate change and present that part that climate change relevance very clearly. There's another question about reviewing, showing again the how to search papers. Yeah, we can, I think, show that slide again. We have not uploaded that video to the YouTube, but soon you can also find it on CCAI YouTube for later viewing. Past submissions. To search for past submissions to our workshops, you can go to the event section and select past events. There you'll find a list of all previous events and also the link to the searchable engine where you can search for all previous accepted submissions. I can also post here the link if that's useful in the chat. So that is the direct link to the search engine.
So we have another question. The mentorship application form requires an abstract. Can this be a working version to be improved upon before the final paper project submission? Certainly so. So this abstract and the preliminary title of your submission is to inform the best possible matching of the mentorship with the mentee. So mentor with mentee should have more or less the same background, such that there is like good understanding of the methods and there is guided mentorship on specific details of the submission from the expert in the field.
We also have another question about tutorials. Do you want to take this one, Uncle?
Yeah, so thanks for the question on tutorials. The idea for the tutorial will be necessary by August 15th. So if you just have the idea now, that's perfect, actually, because you can submit the idea by August 15th. And then between August 15th and November 21st, we will work with you to help formulate and develop the tutorial. And the goal is that by November 21st, the code is ready and the Jupyter notebook with the step-by-step walkthroughs and fill in the blanks and review questions and all is fully ready. So an idea at this stage is just fine. We'll work with you over the next few months to create the tutorial and have it linked on CCAI's website.
There was another question regarding the email, the contact email for questions about this workshop. I just posted it in the chat. It's climatechangeai.neurips2021@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out anytime with questions about the workshop, any of the tracks, dates, anything. On the workshop website, you will find also all the information we presented here, more complete as well. And these webinars will also be posted on the website for later viewing as well. The slides for this workshop will not be there, I think, but the video will be. So the video, either of this workshop or yesterday's workshop will be linked for anyone to review it.
Any other questions? No need to be shy.
Well, given that we still have a bit of time, but since there are no, well, just popped up a question. What questions in yesterday workshop? Well, I think questions were mostly about mentorship program, if I recall correctly, and about time commitment. I think it was regarding that mostly.
Yeah, so we can encourage everyone, especially like very young research scientists, early stage PhD students, really apply for this mentorship program. It's an amazing opportunity to be linked with some experts in the field and to be guided through your submission and really be helped on the development of your idea and positioning yourself very well within the context of this large interdisciplinary field of climate change AI. And it's also very good for networking.
Yeah, you can also think of it as an opportunity to have some feedback from an external source that is really interested in your problem as well. And some feedback you have time to improve upon, unlike the review process that is just a one-step thing. So we encourage everyone to take advantage of this period. Also, we encourage everyone here which has more experience also to apply to be a mentor. It is great also to meet mentees working in relevant climate change problems. So we encourage you, irrespective of if you're coming from academia, industry, government. There's always people looking for complementary skills. So it's very good also to participate, even if you don't have machine learning experience as well. Well, if there are not any further questions, I think we can wrap up here. Thank you everyone for joining this webinar. We really look forward to your submissions.